Hi. Hey. Hello. How you doing? Did you click on that link? You must have. You got here. That link, it's a magical portal. It brings you right here to my little place on the internet. This is Periwinkle Palace Arts. I am Princess Bun Bun. No, that's not my real name. We all know this, right? Nobody named me a princess or a bun bun. Anyway, moving along. I'm Princess Bun Bun and I'm here with my bunnies that make me happy. And we do art stuff here and talk about things. And sometimes I talk to the bunnies because they talk to me. They started. Look, I didn't make you be here. You don't have to stay. You don't have to be here. But you can be if you want, and I'd love to talk to you. Hello. Jump in the chat. Okay. Let's start with the first thing we always start with. You guys, this just helps me kind of get in the right headspace. It's part of my little routine, and I would be doing it even if I wasn't on a live stream. I just like to let you guys in on the process a little bit. Okay, look, I'm ridiculous, and I'm putting myself out here for the whole wide world to see because I like to share things and talk to people. I want to make friends. My people will eventually find me, right? Okay. If you've been here before, you know Maya. Maya is my fibromyalgia bunny. And she is cuddly and she is adorable and she has one leg that's longer than the other. These bunnies are handmade, okay? She's my favorite girl. And she likes to sit underneath my laptop. Is that where you're going to sit today? She stayed awake the whole stream yesterday. She loves it when we color. It's her favorite thing to do. Oh, I am, I'm not going slow. I'm lagging. I have lag. That's what it is. I have lag today. Okay, next we have La Bibi. Lee Bibi. This is my chronic pain bunny. She claimed this hair bow the other day after I was fixing all those hair bows. Yeah, she claimed it. It's hers now. It looks so cute on her. She's named after a character that didn't last very long in a series called Murderbot on, I think it's on Apple TV. Anyway, it's really funny, and that's her attitude. She has the attitude of this chick named La Bibi. Lee Bibi. She also has her own spiked bracelets, leather spiked bracelets, but they come off of her, and I have to figure out a way to make that not happen. But also, they're not soft spikes. They're like regular, like metal spikes, and they poke me. And this is my girl Static with the holographic rainbow eyes and paws and the uniquely furry, wonderfully textured ears. I love her, and she loves my bunny ears. And she's one part of the other bunny and her have named themselves the Sparkle Twins, and they keep stealing my hair bows, my headbands, but I don't mind. She looks so cute in it. I don't understand why the bunny wants to have extra bunny ears, but your choices are your choices, my dear. She is the dissociation bunny, and yeah, she's always a little frazzled. You gonna sit there? Okay. Yeah. All right. What do we need to do, Art? I don't know about you, but I need my hair to look kind of cute. At least kind of. And I don't feel like it's passing the test today, but whatever. Whatever. And we need coffee. This is an important question, and I ask it during every stream. Do you have your coffee? Did you bring your coffee to the stream? No? What are you doing to yourself? Come on, man. Go get your coffee. It doesn't take long. I'll be here when you get back. Promise. And I can promise you that at some point today, I will take a break in this stream and go get coffee myself. So, you can go get coffee. That's okay. My mouse is needing to be recharged. All right. We have been working on this, which is my second version of this. So we're doing a dark skin version, and we'll be customizing it for our own colors. And so far, the colors that we've customized is we did the green in the eyes, and instead of doing the like muted turquoise for the glasses lenses, we're using hot pink. We're giving it that rose-colored glasses look, or we're attempting. So yesterday we worked on the feet, and the eye area, and the eyes themselves, everything inside the glasses. And when we left the table yesterday, we were looking at the face and the feet, and there's a tone difference between them. I thought there was, but I wasn't sure, so I needed to go away so I could come back and look at it again. And there is a tone difference. It's very slight, but it's bothering me. I also feel like the skin on her face is a little too light. I feel like that's because of a thing. That thing being that I smudged my hand all over it while I was coloring other things. And so I feel like that, and I tried doing a little bit of erasing of some areas, and I feel like it took off the top layer of henna. So we're gonna fix the that. We're gonna fix the face. We're gonna flatten the feet, flatten the tooth in the feet. You guys, I have verbal aphasia, and I say everything backwards. It's really hard for me to get words out of my mouth sometimes. You ever have that problem? All right. So here's the deal. I'm not feeling great today. But on days like today, I feel like the name of the game is persistence. And the reason for that is because it's easy to be persistent when things are going well, and it's easy. When it's not easy is when the struggle comes in. That's when you need the persistence. But here's the deal. It's very hard to practice persistence when things are easy, because you don't need it then. So, you have to practice the persistence when things are going wrong. And it's hard to do that, because in that moment, what you need is persistence. But in that moment, that's when it's the hardest to have persistence. So how do you practice something in the moment that you need it? Well, I don't really have the answer to that. I feel like it's something to do with just giving it a shot. You just got to remember that that's what you need to do, is you need to have persistence. So when you wake up and you feel like crud, and in your mind you're going, I don't want to do this today, just because I feel like crud. And you're telling yourself it's not worth it. But every day before that you thought it was worth it. And that's when you need persistence. Because you know that you want to do the thing. You really do. You do want to do it. It's just difficult. And so you need to remind yourself, okay, this is the moment in which I need to practice persistence. But literally, though, you're practicing it. The first time you do it, you're going to fail. The second time you do it, you're going to fail. The third time you do it, you might land it a little bit and mess it up. Still. The 100th time you do it, you're still going to be messing it up. It's going to be constant mistakes. Does that mean that we quit? That we give up? No. So, how does that relate to art? For me, the way it relates to art is I practice persistence during the art. While it's not so hard and it's not so impactful on my life as opposed to, other things. When you practice on art, you get the opportunity to practice these skills on a very low risk, high reward activity. So, right now, I feel a little frustrated with the difference in the skin tone and that I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, I don't have to fix it, first of all. I don't have to. But I want to because I would like to improve the skill. But it's frustrating a little that it didn't go right the first time around. So here is a moment where I can look at this and I can go, okay, if you really don't want to deal with it, you don't have to. However, this is a good moment to practice that skill of persistence in art, where it doesn't matter. So I'm going to persist. I'm going to persist. And I'm going to attempt to fix this. And if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. If I mess it up further, I mess it up. But the stronger I get with this skill in the art, the more sense it makes in my daily life. Interactions with people and just not giving up on things. Yeah? So again, I don't have to be persistent in my art. But the art helps me learn things that are very internal. And they help me practice things that is very internal. Because really you can't have an effect on the world until you've had an effect on yourself. I want to have a positive effect on the world. So I constantly work on myself. Let me know what you think about persistence. What does persistence mean to you? What do you find it hard to do that either you have successfully applied persistence as a skill to the situation, or that you could apply persistence to a situation? Let me know. I need some encouragement today. I don't want to jinx it, but I think the meds change is helping. However, it's throwing me off a little bit, and adjustment is more than just like letting the meds get in your system and such. Adjustment also has to do with recognizing things like how it affects your routine, how it affects your mental state, how it affects your anxiety levels. Like, all of that impacts how you communicate with people, and I'm struggling to communicate with people at the moment on important things. So, I don't know. It seems like the meds are gonna help. I don't want to like jinx myself on that though, so we're not gonna talk about it a whole lot. In addition, I'm in a lot of pain today. I don't know why. Sometimes it's easy to tell, sometimes it's not. I'd be willing to bet that if I check the barometric pressure, it's rising right now. Pretty a lot rising. Anyway, and also, the depression is starting to like hit with a fury. So it was hard for me to show up today. And I have no idea how this day is going to go. But we're going to do art because that's what we do here. We do art stuff. And we talk. So let's get started. Yeah? Okay. Let me turn on my music. This is a very old playlist of mine. It's called the Magical Mornings playlist. And it starts with the first 15 songs of my Panic Attack playlist. It helps me be more calm. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go through all of the colors in the blend, just on the face, very lightly, and I'll be able to tell when the tone and the coloration hits the matching point of everything else. So we're just going to go through the whole blend because I'm not positive if it's just a color shift or if it's that I rubbed off some of the color. And that's something that does happen to be kind of frequently. It kind of makes the colored area look like the colors are separating. And I don't have that down here or on the hands or on the ears much, but on this ear there's a little bit. Anyway, dark brown is what we start with. I'm just going to try to put a light layer of color back on it and then blend it. And I do want to see if I can make the face a little bit darker. I got to be careful with this. I don't do dark skin tones a lot. I probably do them more than the average person, but I can't say that. I do dark skin tones quite a bit, actually, now that I think about it. I just haven't done it in a while. There we go. I haven't done it in a while. I need to do a little bit of what I call administrative work, which is essentially going through papers and things. And
this is a reminder. Take an ashwagandha gummy.
Oh, you take an ashwagandha gummy.
This is a reminder. Take an ashwagandha gummy.
I'm back talking my husband's doc. It's telling me what to do. I eat my gummy. Look. Okay. I'm also gonna, let's see, just get your pencils together. La 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 la. I haven't cleared off my desk in a couple of days, though. So I apologize for the horrible messiness. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay. Okay. Makes me wanna shut. So yeah, I listen to music all day. Just fair information here. So if I'm singing or dancing, that's what's going on. Music. Uh, which feels a little weird to be dancing to something nobody can hear, but copyright, yeah. So there's a Spotify screen share over there on the bottom of the screen. And it's just my mini player. That way you can at least see what I'm listening to. I'd like to create a Periwinkle Palace Arts playlist and share it with people at some point. I mean, let me rephrase that. I've already started creating that playlist, but I haven't figured out how to share it with you guys yet. This nose doesn't exactly look symmetrical. We can try to give it a little fix here. If it doesn't fix, it's not a big deal. Now, adjusting this the way I am may mean that I need to go back through all of the other parts. We'll just have to see how it comes out. That's the thing. We show up, we don't know what's going to happen. We just show up. Today I just showed up. I'm here. That's the main goal. Actually, I just decided that I am going to change this blend a little bit. I'm going to throw the color chocolate in here. Kind of. Yeah, we're going to do that. That might help it look a little more dark without the red or yellow tone in it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's really important, more than anything right now in this stage, to be super soft with your application of your colors. When you're up close to it, it might look like, oh, nothing's even happening because you're applying color so lightly, but okay. So next we're going to use sienna brown, and I'm going to throw that chocolate color in here after the sienna brown. Ooh. I got like an electrical shocky pain going through my finger right here. I didn't use any of my pain cream this morning. I should have remembered to do that. I think there's some on my desk somewhere. Maybe. You like my shirt today? It's yellow for Yellow Day. Plus, it says you got this. I needed that reminder. But when I'm looking at the camera, it's reversed. So I see... How do you say you backwards? You, sty, Sith. You sty Sith. There we go. I think you sounds the same backwards and forwards, but I'm not sure. The husband is very good at that. Talking backwards. I feel like when I was doing the first two layers of color, I was being uber careful about not killing the highlights, because dark skin does have highlights. Everything has light and dark, so it does need highlights. I think I was being a little too precious about it, and so I'm just bringing the colors in a little bit further on this third round, and I think adding that chocolate will help. So the fact that I smudge things a lot and have a tendency to lift color and make it look mottled like that is one of the reasons that I did the skin first. It's in the center, so I won't have to put my hand there. That doesn't mean I won't. I have a sticker, like a bumper sticker, on the back of my laptop that my middle child bought for me. And it says, "And yet she persists." My kids know me really well. Um, they're very complimentary of me. I don't know if that's just because they're good kids and they're brainwashed to think I'm an amazing mom, or if I'm actually an amazing mom. Children are an experiment, you know that, right? Nobody tells you this. They're a biological product of a very highly, intensely emotional and sensory experience. That they're the result of that biologically. They have no say so in it. They'll let you know about that when they turn into teenagers. They'll be like, "I didn't even ask to be born." My oldest still says that, actually. I'll be like, "Son," and he'll be like, "I didn't ask for you to have me." um, but yeah, you don't really get to see the outcome. You think, "Oh, the baby, this is the outcome." It's not. You won't see the outcome for years. In fact, if you're lucky, you'll make it. You'll both make it to 18 to the when the child turns 18. You know, and I got to tell you something. I thought it was done. I thought that's when you see the results of the experiment, and that's not true. Nobody told me that either. Yeah, that's not true. You don't really get to see the result of the experiment until you're very old, like when they're 40 or 50. In fact, they're still growing when you will be leaving the earth. Raising kids requires a whole lot of persistence, too. Persistence and patience. So if you could see, I'm just bringing these darker colors out a little bit further into the highlight than I did before. Now, I'm not going to change any of the coloration inside the glasses because I'm just not. It's got that pink in it, and you know, behind that eyeglasses, that skin's going to look a little bit different anyway, so we're just going to leave that. Okay. Now let's apply this chocolate in there. We'll see what that does. Yeah, I think that's going to do the trick. I'm not using the chocolate actually to extend over anything. I'm going over the area that now has dark brown and sienna brown on it because I'm using this color to tone again, trying to take out some of that yellow. I do like that, guys. All right. Let's remember that that's where we put it in the order of colors. Okay, I'm going to put in a little bit of the henna. Now, no matter what I do here, it's still going to look funny until the hair is done and the dress is done. It's going to look funny no matter what. But what I'm going for is a more natural brown looking color. Very little of this. I'm just... And I am extending this a little bit further into the color. I might swap out this beige. That might be adding a lot of yellow. There are so many skin tones in the darker shades. It's not just black or just brown. So sometimes I lean towards a more yellow tone, but sometimes I lean towards a more red tone, and then sometimes I go for like a kind of neutral, rich tone. So I'm going for a more chocolatey red tone right now. So instead of looking at the entire page, okay, and trying to see if it looks right, what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the color blend itself. I'm going to bring a little bit of the chocolate into the highlight, just a touch, right around the highlight area. I like that. I like that. Now I have to remember that I did sienna chocolate, henna chocolate. Let's see what happens when I add beige to that. It's okay. I like that a lot better. I'm gonna go over all of the skin tone areas to see if I can make this match, and then we'll move along, okay? This is just to tone it. Oops. I could show you what you want. That's what we still appreciate. You could be my luck. In a tidal wave of mystery, you'll still be standing next to me. Crisp. Okay. Is this tedious? Is it repetitive? Yeah, a little bit. I kind of like tedious tasks. They give me an opportunity to check out of everything and just focus on what I'm doing. Because when you're doing something tedious, it usually takes like a little bit of time. I think I would like to zoom in a little bit more. So you guys can see more of what I'm working on. But I'm not sure exactly where to zoom it in to. So my hand goes pretty much from here to here, yeah? All right, let's see what I can do. Right in the middle of the stream. Yes. Yes. Just hang on, guys. I think it might be helpful for you guys to see a little bit clearer. From here to about here, right? All right, let's try that. I'll fix it on the screen. Give me just a second. Okay. How's that? Is that good? No. I think we can bring the bottom up a little bit more. That should be good. Okay. I'll quit messing with it. I wonder how that looked on the live end here. Okay. You guys let me know if that's a little better or if it really doesn't change anything. And I will try and keep my hand in the video frame. We can do this together, okay? We can work together. Okay, what's next? That would be sienna brown. Hello, Anthony. I know. That's what I was saying yesterday. Feels weird, doesn't it? Okay, again, we're gonna do the chocolate, then the henna, then the chocolate. I think the chocolate is really helping with the yellow tint. And to be clear, I'm not trying to get this right. Um, there's no right here. There's no right, there's no wrong. What I'm trying to do is create the tone and the color that I want to create. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of different colors in dark skin tones. And I'm going for a more brown with an undertone of red than I am yellow. So, again, there's no right or wrong. It's just what I'm looking to do right now. If you wanted a yellow skin tone, you could totally do that. I'm just trying to achieve the color variation that I want. I can feel you fade away. From the kitchen to the bathroom sink. And I really can't look at this and say, okay, the skin tone looks correct against everything else because there is no everything else that's colored yet. So I'm looking at the skin tone as just a color. It's just a color that I'm putting in these areas, utilizing contrast and light source. So if you don't see it as the skin and you kind of like just look at it as just this is just a blob shape and I'm just making the shape colored this way with this tone with the highlights in these areas. Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that at first, but I figured it out yesterday when you told me. Um, I mean, you could always make a whole other account. Not like we haven't done that 5,000 times in over the years. Eve yawned and it made her squeak. Sounded like a toy. So, it's official. The the new mayor of New Orleans, Louisiana, is a female Democrat. That's who won the race. I don't know anything about her though. I just noticed it this morning. She seems like a nice enough person. She talks a lot about God. But that's not necessarily a negating factor. It's just something to note. You know what I don't do very often is pink hair. Yesterday I was feeling an aqua purplish coloration. Today I'm leaning more towards pink. But like a pinky purple. Hey, maybe I could do both. I could go from like pinky purple to blue aqua. I could do a whole like spectrum in the hair. That could be fun. I think this is clogged. No, it's clogged. Hi, Andrea. I'm I'm here today. I'm here. How are you? Haven't talked to you in a little while. I know how that kind of stuff goes. I do try to show up to the studio every day, but some days are just mean to me. Okay, so now I can't remember the colors that I was doing. Crud. Oh, henna. We do henna, and then I was gonna go back to chocolate. I'm trying to adjust the tone of the skin here, and I think it's working. Just swap in colors and swap out colors. Persistence is the theme of the day because, ugh, sometimes it doesn't even feel like it matters at all to get to the desk. But I've learned that when I'm in my worst state, it's probably the best time for me to get in here if I can. It's when I need the art the most, honestly. So yeah, the henna adds back that pinky tone just a little bit. I'm being very sparing with these colors now. And there's a lot of wax buildup in the paper now because we're on what, third or fourth layer here. I'm trying to adjust, so it's both good and bad when it gets that wax buildup for me, because the wax buildup actually makes it easier for the paper to hold the pigment because the wax sticks to wax. So that's cool, and it gets like this glide kind of feeling with the pencil instead of like a bumpy texture. But it's really easy to go overboard when you have this many layers. So if you go overboard, I don't know how to explain it really, but you'll get to where you really can't blend it anymore, and the pigment seems to kind of separate on the page. And it can start to look rough. Now, that's a positive if that's the texture you're going for. But if it's not, it can look funny. So, one thing I will also say is that, excuse me, when you're up to your paper like this, or, you know, how I sit, which is basically like this, you can see it. You can see all those little dots and divots, and you can drive yourself crazy looking at it and trying to get rid of it. But when you step back, adjust your eyes, give it a good art stare, you realize that even holding it just this far in front of you, like arm's length, you can't see those dots. You can't see it. So while it's a positive to be persistent in trying to make your coloring smooth and not get those dots, and sometimes I obsess over it quite a bit, it's beneficial to learn and practice to not do that. But in the end, it's not a big deal, because I was just holding it in front of my face and you can't see it from that far. I have some of my art hanging on the living room wall, which I'm not good at estimating distances. Joe, how far is it, you think, from my desk to my wall? A couple of feet? No, not a couple of feet. um, maybe 7 feet, 8 feet away from me, and on those pieces of art, you can't see it at all. Nobody sees it except for you when you're doing the work. So don't obsess over it. And I'm saying that to myself because I'm kind of obsessing over it right now. But that's okay because that gives me an opportunity to okay, so maybe 10 or 12 feet. Yeah, it gives me an opportunity to stop, practice patience with myself, remind myself that this isn't something to stress over, and then explain to you why I stopped and reminded myself that this isn't something to stress over. It gives me an opportunity to bring it up in the chat, I guess. That can be positive, right? Okay, the truth is, as an artist or creator of anything, you can choose. You can choose to be perfect or you can choose to not be. The problem comes in when you're not choosing the perfection, maybe. More like the perfection is choosing you. So that's a thing where it's like a self-control kind of thing. I guess. But it is a choice. And in the end, it's also a choice whether or not you choose to let it control you. Whether you choose the perfectionism and the stress that comes with that. See, I think if you're going to be a perfectionist, it's okay as long as it's not stressing you out or causing negativity in your life or others. Right? What do you think? I'm not asserting that what I'm saying is facts and true, my opinion. Like I said earlier, art is not, well, maybe it was yesterday I said it. Art isn't it isn't finished until the actual artist says it's finished. So, in the art world, the artist is, I guess, the person with all the power, right? We can give that power away if we allow other people or even ourselves to produce negativity in our processes. But it's up to us whether we engage with that or accept that. And it is up to us to make a decision about when the art is done, right? About how we approach the art. It's all in our power, in our control. So, if a person wants to be a perfectionist, that's fine. If you want it, if you choose it. And today I'm trying to not choose perfectionism. I'm trying. I don't know if I'm succeeding. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know if I'm succeeding. I did think about not coming to stream today. I was laying in bed. I woke up at the regular time. I went back to sleep. I woke up about half an hour later and took my meds. I'm experimenting with taking them a little bit later in the morning, um, along with the other med changes we're doing right now. But then I drink an entire cup of coffee sitting there, not even awake, and then I just laid down and went back to sleep. And I didn't wake up until like 7. And so I was running a little late, which is ridiculous, I guess, for me to say, because I'm the one who creates my schedule, my routine, and decides if I'm on time or if I'm late. But in my head, I was running late. And uh, I try to be here and log on by 8:30. Now, I didn't promise that to anybody but myself and, well, Andrea. I did say that, right? So, to me, I need to keep that promise. But I guess I let it get me stressed out that I was running late this morning, which I need to be less, um, what's the word? I need to be less strict on myself right now. Um, Because when you're going through the suck, you have to recognize it and be a little more gentle with yourself. You have to. Honestly, we are all our worst enemy, our own worst enemy. The things that we tell ourselves in our heads, so much worse than anybody would ever say to, well, I mean, you wouldn't talk to your friends like that. Maybe you would. I don't know. I don't talk to my friends the way that I talk to myself in my head. I'm cruel, kind of. And I think we all have a little bit of that in our minds. All right, so now we're going to just touch the chocolate brown to it again. Exactly. I feel like everybody should adapt life and their surroundings and their situations to what works for them. I think the trick is that often we don't know what we need. We don't know what we need. And that's where, you got to experiment with things that comes in, but it's hard when you don't like change. It's hard when you are unsure how changing something to make it work better for you, when it may or may not work, is going to impact your life. And that creates a nervous feeling, which is why I encourage tiny changes. Very tiny changes that are easy to accomplish and only do one or two at a time. Because it is experimental, and sometimes experiments don't go well. And when they don't go well, you have to tell yourself, well, okay, that didn't work out great, but now I know one thing that doesn't work. All right, let me sharpen this. I did not get up from here yesterday and start moving stuff around the desk. Since the couch is gone, I get to move it over, right? And at the end of the stream yesterday, I said, oh, I think I'm going to get off of here and clean up some of the stuff down here on the floor and move my desk a little bit. We're not moving it a lot, just a tiny bit. Then I walked around to the other side of the desk, over there. I saw all the cables and the cords that were underneath said couch that are kind of like, I don't know what's running to what, but it's basically all running to everything here in the studio. And I got really overwhelmed just looking at it, and I was like, oh, not right now. Because, like, if I start working on it and I get really into it, like, I'm halfway through, I've got half the things unplugged, don't know where the cables go back to, sitting there on the floor, and then I have to stop. That would mean that the studio would not be plugged in when I got here this morning. So I made an executive decision that I wasn't going to do it yesterday. And then I woke up this morning feeling not so great. So I don't know if I'm going to do it today either. But hey, the couch is moved. That's one step. Thank you very much to the husband and the kid that helped to move it. So I bring that up because it's a literal example of perfectionism getting in my way. Granda. Um, you know, that's change. I've got to move all the stuff. It's change. It's a very small change when we're talking about, how it relates to life. I don't think I'm going to move my desk more than maybe 3 feet, but my mind immediately rebelled against it. That's okay. It takes practice to get over the perfectionism. In my case, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a battle I fight for the rest of my life. Because I am not a low level perfectionist. I am the worst. I say battle. I guess it's not so much a battle as it is I don't know. Challenge. I challenge myself. No, it really does feel like a battle right now. I'm just gonna leave it there. It feels like a battle. And we can say that's because it's difficult, or we can say it's because I'm just having a hard time right now. Sometimes things that aren't battles feel like battles when you're having a rough time. And sometimes things that other people don't perceive. I broke my pencil tip. I don't like it when that happens because it always leaves like a crusty piece on the page. I was exercising. That was my exercise. It counts. Think about it. If you're sitting in a chair and you're exercising, how is that any different from someone who's in a wheelchair who exercises? If it's good enough for them, because, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I feel like if I can at least do the kind of exercise that a person in a wheelchair would, it's something. I don't know. That might not have been good to say. I don't know. She wants to see. Which really actually only means I want to cuddle. I am barely pressing on the paper here. Like, Honestly, I don't feel like it's pressing at all. It's more like I'm swishing the pencil over it a little bit. Um, I can't remember if I put this color on this hand yet. Yeah, I did. Now I remember. So, I was just thinking about me and my stuffies, and um, I had remembered that Andrea said that she just started buying stuffies for herself. So it made me curious for a sec, like, well, what kind of stuffies do you have? And then it made me wonder, have you heard of Labubus over in the UK? Like, is that a thing over there? These Labubu dolls? They look really weird to me. So I'm kind of just swooping it very lightly. Again, I'm using the chocolate to tone that yellow out some. Swooping is not the right word for what I'm doing, but I can't think of the right word right now, so we're gonna go with swooping, okay? My hands are breaking out pretty bad. So, I've been playing the Xbox a little bit, and uh, I don't know how to do these things. I'm really bad at it. Anyway, the game that I'm playing, I couldn't figure out how to run. I can walk just fine, but I couldn't figure out how to run. So, when I figured out how to run, I realized that in order to run, I have to press one of the knobs. Who's gonna cancel me? For what? Swoop. Oh, swoop! Right, okay. No, she won't cancel me for that. I'll just tell her how much I love her work and that I didn't mean it. Okay? Or maybe a very light way of coloring with low pressure is exactly the kind of colorer that swoop would be. Okay. So, I don't get the Labubus. They look like little monsters, which I am not offended or not a fan of monsters. I think monsters are adorable. Um, I can't figure out. It's not that I wouldn't want one, because honestly, if somebody gave me a Labubu, of course I'd want it. It's a stuffy, and stuffy gifts are the best. And I don't get offended by them. I once knew a person a few years back who did get offended by stuffies that I bought them. That was a little weird. I'm just saying. How you get offended by somebody handing you something cute? Anyway, my thing is that I hear a lot about them, and what I hear about them is that the whole world is wild for Labubus. So yeah, I figure it is like the new Beanie Baby trend. But what I'm trying to figure out is why. Now, I understand why the Beanie Baby thing happened. I've even watched all the documentaries on the Beanie Baby thing. And I loved Beanie Babies. The Joe can tell you, I collected Beanie Babies like, I mean, I wasn't like overboard with it, but the orange bear. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was this orange bear. I have to find the picture for that. So okay, so I my thought is there's got to be something special about these Labubus. To be fair, I have not yet gone and looked this up. I've never really actually looked at a Labubu. I've heard about them. I've seen, screenshots or flashes on the internet when watching a news report or something, and they're like, the Labubus. And I'm like, okay. Now, Beanie Babies, they were little, they were colorful, they had names and like little poems. But most of all, what I loved about Beanie Babies was how soft but also kind of posable they were. Loved them. Lost all my Beanie Babies in Hurricane Katrina. But I was particularly obsessed with tiny Beanie Babies. The ones from McDonald's. I collected those. Now, that's a confluence of two things. I love McDonald's Happy Meal toys, and I love Beanie Babies. So it just converged to create a thing. And when I get obsessed about a certain thing, I get obsessed. So, yeah. Even though I was poor, I had quite a few Beanie Babies. But honestly, I didn't pay for a lot of them. They got given to me, so. So my thought is there's got to be something special about these Labubus. And I'm going to look it up today. But it's been bouncing around in my head probably for about a week. Like, I feel like I need to get a Labubu just so I can understand what's going on. And I know my husband's going to say, no, you don't need to get a Labubu. But I feel like I just want to understand. Or maybe, all right, this is a long shot. This is a long shot because if you don't know, I don't leave the house. But I feel like maybe this is a situation where I need to go find a store, a brick and mortar store, where they sell these famed Labubus. I like saying the word, I'll be honest. I like saying the word Labubu, Labubu. I don't think I can say it fast. Labubu, Labubu. All right, there's got to be something with the texture, or I don't know. Things don't go like, I guess these days we call it viral. Is it viral when like a particular brand or toy like blows up? Is that still viral, or is it only viral if it's on the internet? It's viral. I don't know. I feel like when things go viral, there's always a reason behind it. Sometimes it's brilliant marketing strategies, but I feel like there's got to be a reason. And I'm curious about it. Very curious. I'm so curious that my brain won't shut up about these Labubus. And I don't even know if I like them or not. My brain is just like, every 3 seconds. Why the Labubu? Why the Labubu? I'm moving on. Moving on. Okay, what's next? The next color is peach, right? So I feel like this is starting to match. Because at first when we sat down, the face was a different color than the feet. Which is why I'm doing them round motion. That is not what I was trying to say. I'm doing them in order all at the same time instead of doing the face and then the ears completely with the color, because this way I can keep it a little bit more consistent. Okay, so peach. Keep this. Why am I doing the face? I already did that. I'm keeping this to closer to the highlight. This is an interesting interview. So it took you 3 times of hating the Labubu to decide that you love it. I could see how that would work. So the orange teddy bear, there was this orange teddy bear that a friend gifted us at my baby shower for my middle child. You ever look at a stuffed animal and think, wow, that's not even so ugly that it's cute. That's just ugly. Look, we all have preferences, okay? Anyway, there is a picture of, like, we left the bear behind when we went to the hospital to have child. It's the kind of thing you pick up and you're like, yeah, that's kind of freaky, scary, like ugly. My friend stopped by the house and made sure to pick up that orange bear and bring it to the hospital. So there is a picture of this baby that was just born laying in one of those little hospital crib bin things that has, like, you know, the plastic sides that's clear. I don't know what it's called, like the rolling bed cart. My friend walked up and put this bear next to the baby in the bed and took a photo. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the child was just screaming because the child was just screaming. But in that photo, it looks like the child had that bear sat next to it and lost his old crap. I have to find that photo. Oh my God. He's just like next to this orange bear. It's an iconic photo. I will be honest. It took a little while, but I did kind of develop an affection for that ugly orange bear. It's like when you adopt a dog from the pound that has, like, it's missing legs and, you know, has one eye, and it's very touching. It becomes very cute in a way. But that picture is the whole story. I'm pretty sure she's the one who took the picture. I don't know what she was thinking. It was like 70s, 1970s, bright orange. I don't. It was not cute. It wasn't even fluffy. It was like a weird bumpy texture. Not a soft bumpy texture. It was a weird bumpy texture. And it was pretty much when my middle child was born, it was the same size as child. So laying in that little bed thing next to them, it like But to be fair, also there are not many pictures that we have of that kid at a young age when they weren't screaming or their eyes weren't red because they had just been screaming. That was my wild child. Wild baby. Always on the go. Pretty much constantly aggravated about life for the first couple of years of his life, which is understandable. He was having some serious ear infection issues. And if you don't know how that can mess your world up, it can mess your world up. A pendant plushie? Do you mean like Like the ones that you could put on like keychains and stuff. I am very obsessed also with stuffy eyeballs. Like Maya's button eyes just are amazing. And static. Look at that. The rainbow hollow. Okay, I love rainbow. I love anything hollow. So sometimes when I have a headache, she gets real close to my face and she's like, stare into my eyes and see the rainbows. And I don't know that it helps my headache at all, but it's fun. I could stare at them for a while. Like, we can do this all day. Yes, ma'am, we can do this all day. As soon as I saw that one on the bunny shop, I knew that I had to have her. Had to. I love how accurate their little symbology is. I forgot, did I color the hands yet? Did I color anything but the ears? I think I just did the ears. You know what, though? I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter in the long run. Why do I always say I'll be honest? Like, I was gonna be dishonest, but I decided to say I'm gonna be honest and then be honest. The boo-boos are pendant plushies. Huh. Is that the thing, that they're tiny? And you can carry them around? I mean, honestly, I can carry around any stuffy. I have a thing with teeny tiny stuffies and super huge stuffies. Like, I have a lizard stuffy that's, if you hold him for tail down, it's probably like this tall. I have a giant unicorn. I have a giant, I guess you call it a Christmas horse. A giant duck. Like, if they're tiny or they're huge, it just makes them even look cuter to me. I have a tiny a mini plushy dreadful, because they have mini ones that are like on key hooks, and I only have one, but I bought the autism spectrum one for all of my kids and their significant others, because the autism is strong in this family. So I bought one for everybody else, but I think I thought that I had bought one for myself too, but I miscounted somehow. I don't know how you miscount your children and their significant others. There's 3 kids, so there's 3 significant others. There was only 6 stuffies, mini stuffies. I'm misordered. Whatever. It's that's actually a stuffy, a mini that they keep on hand a lot. So I used to like be a person that had a keychain that was keychains attached together that was longer than my arms. Drove my husband crazy when we first met. But I mean, I also carried like multiple diaper bags plus purses and everything. So yeah, I was into decorating bags back then. These days, it took me a long time to. Y'all, that was almost a disaster. Why am I trying to open this next to the art? I know better. Okay. I do not have any energy drinks today, so we are drinking a Starbucks espresso. Woot. I'll have to look up is it said by like Kemon or Kimon? I'll look them both up this afternoon. I'm not saying I'm going to buy any. Thankfully, my mania has petered out. But now I have, hang on, I'll tell you exactly. This is terrible. This is a thing that happens to me a lot. I have currently 2,090 emails, unread emails. Now, it took me like 2 months, but at the beginning of the year, I had like some 40, probably 40,000. I don't remember at this point. It was a lot of emails because I'm very bad at managing my email. So I spent a couple of months like doing 5 minutes every morning, just going through and deleting stuff and blocking stuff. And I would take screenshots every day and send them to my husband and my boyfriend and be like, look what I did today. I was productive. The things you can do while you're sick in bed, right? Anyway, so then I stayed on top of my emails for several months. Every morning, just read through, delete what you don't need, etc. I was managing, and then I went manic. And sometimes when I'm manic, it's just best that I don't check my email, because if I check my email, it's almost a guarantee that I'm going to want to buy something. So I just don't check my email so I don't have that temptation. But now I have to be persistent, you know. I have to be persistent. I have to go back through my emails, clean this stuff out again before it gets bad. Because the more emails that build up, the longer it'll be until I take care of it. Thank you, thank you. This particular playlist, I have basically all of the uh, tracks on Linkin Park and Jay-Z's Collision Course album in order, just dropped right into the playlist. I just don't think that I can decorate my purses anymore. But that does not mean that I can't hang stuffies everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, so I am putting the beige back into this blend. When I was working on the face up here this morning, I wasn't, I was hesitant to do that. But it does help bring the colors together. So I just need to apply this very lightly in some very, I guess, discreet areas near highlights. And then we will go ahead and we will blend all of this together and flatten the tooth down so that the skin tone is set. So I kind of relate it to setting your makeup, because I could actually take this and spray it down with a workable fixative and then just come back over it. But I prefer to not use fixative in the middle of a project unless I absolutely need to. Um, so, yeah, we're just gonna flatten it down. I think that's a good call. It may not be, but as the artist, I think it's my call, right? It is my call. It is your call. The artist is in control of the art. I mean, my feet are hurting, so I'm kicking my feet. I guess since I have this leg rest on my chair, I should put my feet on it. I forget that it's there. Andrea, I hope that you don't mind me saying your name and calling you out by yourself. I'm not meaning to be like all up in your face. That's just you and my husband are the only ones here right now. So, um, what was I gonna ask you? Oh, I wanted to know if you were if you're doing art right now. That's what I wanted to ask. And um, are you still working on watercolor? And if you are able to create a post in the community area, if you've tried that, um, there's like one way that I can get to the community post where it shows me everything that I've posted. For some reason, in the community tab on YouTube itself, it only shows me like 4 posts that I made, and I'm like, so I went back to make sure that they were actually published, and they are. They're just not showing up on that area, so I'm using the other area. But I kind of want to do a check and make sure that other people can post, and um, I know my husband probably can, but he's a what do you call it? He's a administrator or moderator level in the channel itself. So I just don't know if anybody's seeing the post that I make and if people are able to post. So if you wanted to give that a shot so we can see how it goes, that would be awesome. Plus, I would love to see some of your watercolor. Okay. A little bit of assessment here. I want to look at the photo that I took of her yesterday for comparison. Yo, where's my photo album? So, yeah, I brought those highlights down a little bit since yesterday. I feel like the face looks a lot better. Looks like the feet look a lot better. What is the overall? I feel like everything matches now because the face was more a brown yellow and the feet were more brown red. So it looks more evened out, and it definitely looks more like a dark skin tone instead of a light skin tone that somebody got dirty in the mud. I like the way this has turned out. Now, it looks super dark, right? Even for dark skin, it looks kind of super dark. But after we color the whole thing, it will not look so weird. But now we have a decision to make while I flatten all this tooth down and blend everything of what color we're going to do the hair. So the options that I've come up with for today are a dark emerald green and aqua blend, a dark blue and purple blend, or a bright pink, pinky purple blend. So that's emerald, aqua, purple blue, or purpley pink. So while I blend this, if you guys would like to choose one, that will be awesome because I can't decide at the moment. All right, so I've got my Derwent pencil blender, and I'm just going to go lightly over everything. I'm trying to get back to the point that I can do tidying in my life. I was doing really good last year, and then blah. So I'm just trying to build myself up slowly to a level where I can at least function enough to do the art every day and do like one task at tidying or cleaning or packing, and just one thing, just one small thing during the day. And that is a thing that also requires persistence, right? I don't know if many people understand this, but when you are chronically ill, it doesn't take a lot at all to knock you off your game. And there's a thing where I work really hard, slowly, building myself up from a long sick period or whatever, to get back to what I consider a certain quality of life functionality. And I'm very unhappy in my life when I'm not at that level, which, no lie, is like not even a level that I used to function on. but it's the level that I now function on. You know, we have to have this acceptance of where we're at before we can move forward. And there's almost nothing more frustrating, scary, depressing, etc. to me than when I'm flowing, you know? So I'm excited. I'm doing the things that I want to do instead of sitting in bed and staring at all the things around me that I want and need to do. And getting knocked back down and knowing the moment you get knocked down that you're going to have to sort of start all over again, it sends me into a bad place. I absolutely get that. I do not shower by myself anymore. My husband has to shower with me because I can't do it, like, for many reasons. But it just, I understand what you mean that washing all of you is taking all of your energy and time. I mean, like, in the new house, probably the biggest and most expensive project that we are having done is having a custom bathroom, shower, and tub built. That is, I mean, for the most part, everything that we put into it, as far as what we need, what we want, is based primarily on functionality, because I can't take a shower by myself. And, like, I'd like to be able to take a bath without being afraid that my bathtub is going to kill me, which the bathtub we have here, it's a nightmare. A nightmare. It's the weirdest bathtub I've ever met. Wait, I don't think I ever introduced myself to it. Like I just said, I met it. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I should have been like, hi, I'm, so and so, and do you have a name, bathtub? You're a little weird shape, but can we work something out? Right? Um, like, first of all, people don't realize how exhausting just getting basic level clean can be. It's exhausting. And when you have difficulties, you do everything slower, both because you don't have that much energy and because it's safer to move slower, right? So most people can take a shower in like 5 to 10 minutes. It takes me a couple hours. That's a lot of time out of my day. I don't like that. But with my husband, it only takes like maybe 30 minutes. So, and we built the new bathtub in such a way that I think I'll be able to do it by myself most days. But also, it's big enough that my husband won't be squashed in a tiny shower if I need assistance. I think of all the things that I'm excited about the new house. That's the thing I'm most excited about. But I'm actually getting pretty excited about the backyard now. I think it just got started on today or yesterday. And I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen like even the design or the plan for that. Just looked at some pictures and picked the ones I liked the best and said something like that. My husband's doing the art. Um, I'm kind of excited about that because we never really got to, like, we started to prettify the yard here, and then family moved in for a little while, and that was a nightmare. And then I got sick, and it's not pretty anymore. So I hope this will be pretty. Plus, we're going to have the dog doors so the dogs can go around in the backyard by themselves. They're going to be so excited, and I'll be so excited that I don't have to bend over and risk my life every time they need to go potty because the stairs. when you have physical issues. People don't really get it, but you have to make a decision sometimes. What's more important? The dishes in the sink or the fact that I stink? Oh, I wasn't trying to rhyme that, but I did. Yeah. And the valid reasons for which one you do aren't the same either, because sometimes the dishes are really really high in the sink, but you need to take a shower because it'll make you feel better. And and then the logic can go like, if I feel better, maybe I can get to the dishes after I take a 5 hour nap because it took me 3 hours to shower and I'm exhausted. But more likely, I might get to the dishes tomorrow. I don't know. It's hard to make that decision. Like, do I take care of myself today in the hopes that I'll be better tomorrow? Or do I make sure the kids and everybody has plates to eat off of? It's a choice. But sometimes the right choice is to choose yourself. Sometimes. Not always. But I do think that choosing yourself is one of those things that people don't do enough of. It's almost time to retire this one. It's too short. I have another one somewhere. I think it's in my room. I have no idea why this finger right here came out pointy, but it did. And nobody else is going to notice it, so I'm leaving it like that instead of trying to erase it because then I'm going to smudge it, and yeah. Now, most of the time when I use this blender pencil, I don't actually sharpen it. I don't want it to be a point unless I'm working on a really fine area. Or I'll sharpen it when the point gets down to the wood. But I prefer this pencil to have kind of a rounded blunt tip because if it's really pointy, it moves the pigment in a way that kind of removes some of the pigment. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm pressing this pigment down into the paper, not trying to remove it. It's more of a smoothing kind of thing. It's a smoothing kind of tool. And sometimes on the edges of your area, it'll get a little smudgy, okay? But you can clean that up really easily, so don't worry about that. And also, one thing that I've learned is that when you smudge, as long as it's within the image, you're never going to see it anyway. Because the little tiny bit of color, it's going to get covered by whatever colors you put down there. Where I worry about it is like out here on this edge, where if I don't do a background on this page, it's just going to be white, and that looks kind of eh. That's the area where it smudges and I can't make myself not do anything about it. I've been thinking about the best way for me to demonstrate the difference between when I'm applying a lot of pressure, which I try to never do, but it's a thing I do, and when I'm not, and what that difference in pressure is. The best way that I've come up with so far to explain it is using a brush. So I am not applying my pencil with a lot of pressure. Like that would be doing this. If I were painting, it would be that would be actually I would be pressing even harder and I would be bending this little ferrule. But I'm not pressing down. This is not how we paint, right? When you're painting, you apply a light touch. So what I'm actually doing, this is about the amount of pressure that I'm putting on my pencil. So you can see here as it flares out, it's not going flat. It's more like soft flicking. If that makes sense, great. If not, I'll keep thinking and come up with a different way to explain it. I also tend to take this step slow so that I can do a really thorough job, and because it's quite meditative actually. If you can convince your mind to take a break and just focus on what you're doing when you're doing it, this kind of tedious task and going slowly, um, it can help you in other ways. Um, it can cultivate kind of a calm, you know, in yourself. And that's important, really important these days. All right, so I'm going to mention this now. I try to mention it in every video. Um, I'm not a professional at anything. I have degree, but um, I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to be a professional. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to have fun, chill, chit chat. um, Honestly, I like to learn things from other people too. So I'm probably here more to learn from y'all than I am to teach anything. Now, you might learn something. You might accidentally learn something here. Who knows? Um, but that's not my intention. And in saying that, my point is um, everything that I say here is my own opinion unless otherwise stated. Oh, I am in a mood today. I'm pretty well aware that what I am doing here on YouTube is not typical. I've watched enough YouTube to know this. Um, I'm not doing it the proper way. I'm not doing the right format. I'm not uh, preparing a script, using a teleprompter. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Um, Mostly, I don't want to. I do have things that I'm going to share with you guys that I think a lot before I do something. It's a blessing and a curse. Um, Other than just chit chatting and talking about things, I want to be very conscious about the things that I put out there. Okay? Um, I want the energy here to be free flowing and kind of like whatever. Um, but in talking about an actual topic, like one that I want to talk about soon, that I'm doing a little research on, um, it's a topic that I understand, but I think that sometimes presenting another person's information and then stating how I see it would be more beneficial, and we can have conversations about that. But I try to be very conscious about what I'm putting out there as not just my opinion, because I feel even though there's only two people in this chat right now, I feel a responsibility to not be. I don't care if I'm inflammatory on some things, but I don't want this to be a place of high level debate and stress. Most of the things that I want to talk about are based on art, mental health, growth, personal development, time management. Um, you know, illnesses, this, that, and the other. Those things are close to my heart and personal to me because that's the journey I've lived since 2011. Before that, I was always this very healthy person. I wasn't a health nut. I wasn't that person that went to the doctor very often. Basically, I had to be dying to go to the doctor. I was poor. I didn't have health insurance. Come on. Um, so, I had mental health issues from a very young age due to trauma and such. And I guess a little bit of genetic mental health stuff. But, I didn't know how to manage a life where I wasn't working and contributing at least 50%, if not more, to the household with my husband. I didn't know how to deal with not having a career. I didn't know how to deal with not being able to even handle online school. So, everything that I've experienced and learned since that point is stuff that I don't feel like people talk about. And I know how alone I felt, how alone I still feel sometimes. And I'm hoping that what I'm doing, though very different and unorganized and not consistent, really, I'm not a consistent person. I'll tell you that right now. I am literally surprised that I have managed to stream like 3 out of 7 days a week at approximately the same time for however long I've been doing it. I don't know. I don't even know how many live sessions are up there. I now have one video that I uploaded, but I can't seem to like move those live sessions to the videos page. I will figure it out eventually. But I want to inspire people. I want people to not feel like they're completely alone. I want people to have practical tips that I may be able to share, as well as someone to bounce ideas off of and be like, hey, you said this and that's not exactly working for me. And we can chat about it. We can see how maybe you can alter whatever I said to fit your life, because that's what it's all about. It's really lonely to be in this kind of situation in life, and you kind of feel helpless and like there's no hope. And the truth about the matter is, there's nobody else that can do this for you. People can help. I'll be honest, I have the most helpful and will do anything for me people around me. There's only so much they can do for me. Like, there's a great amount of it that I have to do for myself, whether it's stretching my feet properly so they don't cramp up and I can't walk, or um, mentally being okay enough where I am to think through the problems and come up with solutions. I mean, it's lonely, right? It's lonely. It's lonely when everybody else gets up and goes to work and you're left here trying to figure out how you're going to go to the bathroom. That hasn't happened in a long time. But, you know, if you know, you know. And I don't think that there's enough community support in the world for the people who know that life is extremely different. It's not necessarily worse or better than anybody else, but it's absolutely different when you have chronic illnesses. And I feel like we could do so much more if we had more people who understood and were willing to share information and all of that. And I know that there's communities out there. Honestly, I feel like those communities are so huge that I get lost in them. And I think other people feel that way too. I think we want a place to be heard and seen as individuals, which is why, Andrea, I I will call you out by name, not call you out, but I will say your name and talk directly to you. And if we're being really truthful, I kind of hope this channel never gets big enough that I cannot talk to each and every one of the people here. So I know, you can't decide whether or not you go viral in this world, but I just want to create a place where the art is something we give ourselves permission to do, and to find a place where we can be at peace and also share ideas, whether they're art ideas or life ideas. I don't know. Whatever happens with this stuff happens. I'll deal with it as it comes. But I'm not here to cause problems, man, or argue with anybody. Nobody needs that in their life. The truth, the truth, the truth. Every single video I have made is unscripted. I mean, I've recorded like little scripted parts, but I've never uploaded those. Or maybe, because I can't guarantee everything that is inside my mind is accurate, maybe I'm not doing this for anybody else except myself. Maybe. Does it matter? Maybe both are true. Maybe I want to inspire people and I'm doing this for myself. How about that? Sometimes you just have to jump in and follow the pathway. And sometimes the reasons that you needed to do that don't reveal themselves to you until after you've jumped in. Sometimes the experience is the point. Do you make stickers, Andrea? Or do you collect them? I'm curious. I love stickers. When I was a kid, I was that kid that collected stickers. Remember the puffy stickers? Oh, I love those the most. Especially the Lisa Frank ones. Lisa Frank was the shiz back then. Yes, it was. And it's still the shiz now. I'm not too thrilled with the company itself, but the art is beautiful. I still have a lot of Lisa Frank stuff. Not from my childhood, but stuff I've gotten since then. In fact, one of the coloring pages I have over here that I want to do with the Neo Color 2 um, is from a Lisa Frank book. Oh, that is so sweet, Andrea. I appreciate that a lot. Like, I really don't know what I'm doing most of the time. It's, I guess, honestly, since I got sick, I, I've had to learn how to live life in a different way, right? And in that space, as terrible as it can be, no, I don't think it's a bad decision to collect stickers. I mean, come on. They're tiny, right? They're small. You could put them in little books. They take up less space than any other craft thing I have, probably. Okay, well, that's not true because when we're doing diamond painting, those things that you put on the painting are pretty freaking small. But I'm not collecting those things specifically. Look, I I am a collector. I am not when somebody says what do you collect, I'm like everything that I become obsessed with. And those things change. Some of them don't. I will always be obsessed with rainbows. I will always love sunflowers. I will always be obsessed with bunnies. But sometimes it's a random thing. Like, I can't think of anything right now that's a random thing that I collect. I'm looking around. Yeah, I don't know. But, um, nail polish? I collect nail polish, and that takes up a lot of space. And it's like, okay, you know, when it comes to nail polish, there's some colors that are hard to find. Um,
This is a reminder.
oh,
I need to
shh.
take my
I need to
medicine.
take my medicine. Um, like yellow.
This is a reminder. I
I
need to
find
take
that
my
yellow
medicine.
nail polish, at least it used to be, extremely hard to find. It's not as rare now, obviously, but whenever I see a nice yellow polish, I have to have it. Ah, I think stickers are a great thing to collect. I think more importantly at this stage is that I I don't so much have to collect everything I see now. It's more like if I am going to buy something, I have to have the full set of whatever it is. That has been described as full set syndrome. I think it was coined by Jennifer Stay at Coloring Bliss. Uh, Full set syndrome. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's where I first heard it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have that. Let me just add that to my symptoms. It's not really a symptom, but it's not even really a disorder or a syndrome. It's just one of those things in the art world. I have every color of Prismacolors. I have. When I find an art supply that I enjoy, I have to have all of it. Every color, every color. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that is how it is. I think I am. So please don't. Okay, I like that. We're gonna leave it there. I think, yeah. Yeah, there's certain habits and traits that I think we all develop uh, due to various things. Like I was talking about earlier, my my need to carry around like three different diaper bags and a huge purse and never go anything without anything that I might need or that someone around me might need got pretty bad over the years. Um, and I feel like it was very much a trauma response to being afraid of being anywhere without something I need and not being able to be okay. Like if somebody would like come up to me and ask me, "Hey, do you have a band-aid?" Yes, I have band-aids with me at Walmart. You know, do you have nose spray? Yes, I have nose spray. Do you have a pencil? Yes, five. One in each bag, you know. And part of it is a thing that you do naturally when you have children, because I mean, the things that you need when you're out and about with three kids is and having to wait 5 minutes to even ask somebody else for something while your child is screaming. It's just easier, right? But where it became a problem is that I could not go anywhere without everything. So now I'm down to a little tiny purse. Um, but it took me quite a, like, if I had to estimate, I'm not good with time, but if I had to estimate, I would say it took me at least 5 years to uh, reduce myself down to just one big purse. And then probably another 2 or 3 years after that for me to get down to the tiny purse that I have now. Uh, that still bring bunnies. Um, oh, I'm out of coffee. Hang on. Yeah, I totally get that. My thing is, I buy things intending to use them, and then I never do, and then I feel guilty about buying that thing, and it becomes kind of a cycle. And then like you can't let go of that thing because you bought it for a purpose, and you spent that money, and it feels like it's a waste if you give it away or sell it. But yeah, I've been for the past few years doing major cleanouts of my house too, and I just don't want to have all that stuff. I think part of it also came from not having much when I was growing up. You know, that's a thing, causes stress. But also, I've lost everything I own several times. Um, some of those times were like back to back years. So I'm both more afraid of losing my stuff, and I find that I'm a little bit less attached to my stuff. Certain stuff. Certain stuff. So, I mean, it's a double edged sword no matter how I look at it. Progress is progress. I don't I don't judge people, and I hope that people don't judge me too harshly. We can't control what other people think about us. I'm just giving everything a quick look over. I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with this. Um, I think that when we're done with this, we're going to really like that skin tone. It's going to look really good. Let me find my kneaded eraser. I was playing with it earlier. I do wish I had an energy drink today. They seem to be really helping me if I start drinking it at first thing in the morning before I come out here. But I have also learned that I don't like them when they're carbonated. I think she's going to look great. So now I have to decide. The main things I have to decide are the colors for the hair and for the shirt. I have stuff that I don't use very often. Like, okay, so I color something, maybe not a whole thing, every single day. It's almost gotten to the point where I've always colored, always, my whole life. But over the past few years, it's become so very soothing to my nervous system that it don't feel right if I don't color something. I need to touch a coloring device, a pencil, a pen, a marker, whatever. I need to touch a coloring device and paper of some sort every day. Okay, and that's where those spirals that I do come in. And I also found right over there yesterday, I have these really small books. They're vellum, paper, and basically they're stained glass coloring. You can see through it. I love to color those. I have a bunch of them that I've colored. And someday, I'm going to. I want to make a border on my windows in my studio of all the tiny stained glass things. I cut them out all cute and everything. They're just in a folder right now. But so I color every day. It's almost a compulsion or an obsession at this point. So I get obsessed about things, and when I say that, what I mean is fun obsessed. But one of my primary conditions is OCD. So, I've gotten obsessed about bunnies is more of a fixation and, something enjoyable. But like an actual compulsion is more like symptomatic, you know? So I would not say that me coloring is so much of a big deal that it is symptomatic obsession, but it might be because I don't feel right in my head if I don't color. Even if it's like I pick up a spiral and I do like 3 rings, that's enough for the day. If I have other stuff to do or I don't feel good, it's enough. But it's almost like a tactile or kinesthetic need to touch color, touch paper. Something kinetic about that, it just soothes me so much that I feel the need to do it every day. Moving on, my point is there's other things that I don't do every day. I do them in somewhat sporadic kind of things. Like my other two, what I would call my main art things, are nail art. Not when I have to do my nails, but when I actually make them, like the sets, or I'm actually painting them or whatever. The design, I love that. Always have. That's how I get around having psoriasis and needing to do these things. Convince myself that I get the reward of being able to make pretty nails. after I do cuticle care, right? Um, I trick my brain a lot. I've found that it's maybe not nice to my brain, but it is efficient. It gets the stuff done, right? And I don't feel like I'm manipulating somebody else. I'm tricking myself. We'll let that be, okay? But so nail arts, and surprisingly, I've only been doing um, I've only been doing diamond painting for I don't know. I'd have to ask my husband actually, but like a couple of years, and as I've mentioned, I was not at all excited about it when I was introduced to it. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I fell in love with it. So kind of like your Labubu. um, and that happens sometimes. And now, because I found it to be so meditative and um, so easy to do when my hands are like just giving me the middle finger from both hands, um, it became one of my primary art things. Now, that said, when I get everything set back up, I enjoy painting, mostly things, but I really, really want to get into watercolor on paper. So, but I like to paint things. I just love to paint things, especially like picture frames. There's one over there on the wall that I did for my husband. It's like a gradient yellow green, and it's got a bunch of polka dots all over it. Um, and then the inside frame I also painted, so it's really pretty. It's odd, but it's pretty. So I do that. Um, I love to do like anything with fabric. Now, I have a sewing machine. I know how to sew on a basic level. I can hand sew pretty well, but that's hard to do with my hands. But if necessary, if like a gun were put at my head, I could sew a basic article of clothing. I could do it. It would not look great, but functionally, I can sew. What I prefer to do though is make things out of fabric, not necessarily clothes. I like to alter my own clothes, but not by sewing. I like to cut them apart and make them more comfortable. And I love to make hair bows and pretty things like that. So I've made soaps, I've made body products. I'll pretty much make anything. So I have a lot of different supplies for a lot of different activities. What I had to eventually do was, you know what? I crochet as well. I also do hair art, like hair extensions and dyeing my own hair and cutting my own hair. Uh, I love makeup. I'm not great at it. But there will come a time when I decide we're going to sit down and I'm going to show you how bad I am at makeup. Because I kind of do whatever I want to do for the day, honestly, which is weird to think about because it's devastating to lose your career, but it's devastating to become disabled, but there's eventually for me there's a little bit of freedom in it because like who's judging me if I decide I'm not doing nail art for the next 6 months or I don't do one of my diamond paintings for a year and a half? Who's judging me? I used to think that my family would judge me, but they don't. And I enjoy having the option to, oh, this is not going well for me today, this week, this month. I think it's time for me to switch my focus for a little while. And I enjoy doing a lot of random DIY projects like, okay, I want to make this thing. I've never made this thing before, but I want to do it, so I'll buy everything a person needs to do that crap. It's pretty odd for me because I used to think that I was not a creative person at all. Wax stamps. Let's see, you do wax stamps. So is that making stamps or like stamping seals with wax? What are we talking about here? It's very hard to have an organized space when you do multiple crafts. Like, see, here's the thing you can't see right now. There's a landslide over here. Um, I got a shelf. Half the shelves are empty ish, but like the stuff that goes on that shelf, it's out on the floor. Why do I do that? Because I pick stuff up off my desk and I can't reach the shelf. So I just put it down there. And that means I have to clean it up once a week or so. And I haven't done that in a while. But I'm getting back to where I was slowly, slowly, slowly. We are being persistent, and I will not give up because what's the point? What's the point in giving up? You still have to live your life, right? Giving up just means you're never going to be happy. That is so cool. I love old-timey like stuff like that. Wax seals sound so cool. Like I would love to see pictures. All right. Does anybody have a preference on what color we go with the hair? Because I'm about to go grab coffee and come back, and we may only get to like pick out the colors for the hair today. We might start coloring it. I don't know. It depends. I need to take my medicine. I forgot. Look, it's 12. I feel like fabric is an easy thing to sort through, and this is why. The emerald to teal. Okay, we'll do emerald. Cool. Thank you. So, with fabric, you can pretty much get rid of all of it unless it's like a piece of fabric that you really, really like. You keep that one. But the rest of it, you can get rid of fabric because, look, you can go to the Dollar Tree and pick up fabric squares. You can also go to the Goodwill. Neon. I don't know if I can do. Are we saying emerald neon? Neon emerald? Or are you just being ridiculous, Joe? Yeah, neon. Okay. But yeah, I feel like you can just get rid of fabrics because you can go down to Goodwill and you can buy like fabric. It's so cheap. You can buy. I love when I'm looking for a large piece of fabric. To go look in like the pillowcases, blankets, and sheets area. We're talking 25 cents or 50 cents for a sheet set. That's a lot of yards of fabric. I have lace. I found like really good lace there before. Um, Shiny fabrics. Well, I also like to go and look at like don't hate me for this, but like fancy dresses, like prom dresses or wedding dresses that they have at Goodwill, because you can like take that apart, and I just feel like Goodwill is a good place for fabric, and it's almost like You can get rid of all these jeans if you don't need them right now, because you can go and get cheap jeans for whatever. That's my spiel on cleaning out fabrics. All right, I'm gonna run and get coffee. We'll come back. You haven't been here. I'm doing an experiment the past week or so where instead of going off the internet at 11 and thinking I'm gonna get back on after lunch, I'm just staying on until I'm done for the day. Let me go get coffee. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Woot, I'm back. Coffee. Right here. Yep. Gotta take my meds before I get in trouble. You don't want to get in trouble. Do you organize your fabric by color or by texture? Why did I put that in my coffee, y'all? supposed to go in here. I think we all have the messy drawers. You know. Actually, I use buckets to store stuff now. Because I learned that from the clutter bug lady. I can't remember her name right now. But yeah. She has this, like, 4 little bugs types of organizers. And I fall into the category that prefers clear drawers and buckets that are open top. So I have a bunch of buckets everywhere. And at the moment, it's quite a mess. Like, it's quite a mess. It's been quite a mess for a little while. Okay, so we want to do emerald and teal. Let's see what colors we can do for that. So grab some greens. To do the eyes, we used grass green, no, apple green and spring green. But that came out pretty. But I think to get a good emerald, we're going to need a bit of a darker green in there too. We went with a lighter one so that it would pop. Okay. I spent probably a week looking for this pencil before I pulled out a new one for that color, and I just found it. How did it even get there? All right. And so for aquas, we can go with some blues and blue greens. And of course we have aquamarine itself. My dogs are fussing at me too. They haven't adapted yet to the potential new schedule. So they get fussy at me. I don't have all the colors out here right now, but we'll work with what I've got on the table for right now to find our color blend and go from there. So let me grab a scratch piece of paper. I was playing with this yesterday. Just regular printer paper with an image I did a while back on it. Got dark green, grass green, and then these are the 2 we used yesterday, so let's grab those. And that could be a good color range. Light green might also work in there. And then moving towards the turquoise color, I have cobalt turquoise, parrot green, could be good. We've got muted turquoise and aquamarine. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a dark, a medium, and a light at least of various colors that would go good together, because when I make the emerald and when I make the turquoise, what I'm actually doing is I'm blending colors together to create that color. And the cool thing about that is that every time you do that, you create a brand new color. Now, it might look the same exactly as a color that's already been defined, but you're changing and being unique with the amount of each color that you put in your blend. So I feel like when I'm creating my colors here, I'm creating unique colors. I could be wrong about that. I'm not saying, I'm not, but that's how I feel about it. Um, I have aquamarine here in the Verithin. Pretty sure I have aquamarine in the regular um, premieres. I'll have to look over there to see. Non-photo blue. And I'm going to grab cerulean blue here. Okay, I've got a few colors here. Let's move these out of the way. And we're just going to play with it a little bit and see what we like. You're losing your ears. Get there. I know you. Static really loves it when we do color blends. You have to sit right next to it. Okay. So, I'm not going to color on the fairy. I'm just going to kind of swatch this. So, dark green. When I was doing this the other day, I was coloring that key. The colors that I used were very, very similar colors to each other. They don't have names on them, they're just numbered. And I'm not great with numbers at all in the first place. So I kept forgetting the numbers. And I was like, I really feel like I need to add names to these pencils because I can remember the names of pencils really well. I can remember that I can set this down and be looking through a bunch of pencils for dark green, and I know what this color is. I pick it back up, it's dark green. But without the color names, I don't know that I would be able to do that. I can do it with Crayola products. I can do it with Sharpie products. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Sharpie actually does have names on their products of the colors. I didn't know that for years. I know it now. So I'm just kind of placing these colors in different orders to see how they look. Let me go back to this grass green. Put it up here. Now the colors are going to look different when applied in hair type strokes. This hair is like really different. When you're coloring hair, it's a little bit different. And I could just pull out my, well, I can't actually. I was going to say I could just pull out my swatch chart from my Prismacolors, and that would make it a little bit visually easier for me. But the one that I have, I made in my sketchbook, and it's very small. I have the swatch deck system from Sarah Renee Clark that I just recently bought. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, she has solved a problem for the entire creative world. I've swatched all of my Copics using it, Copic markers, but I haven't swatched my Prismacolor pencils yet. I just haven't gotten to that. Let's try this light green here. I like that one. All right, let's tentatively say we're going with this blend here. I think putting the yellow toned colors in it is going to move it too far away from the emerald, because the emerald's kind of a truer green. Okay, let's work on the aqua, and then we'll work out how we're going to do the transition between them, between the two colors. So let's start with parrot green and cobalt turquoise. So that's a pretty dark color, so that's going to go right in line with our dark green and the shadow colors. And when I do this, I like to try and make sure that the dark color blends into the other dark color, and the midtones blend and the light tones blend. You can put more than 3 colors in your blend if you want. I do that all the time, but I usually do that in process. So I'll pick out my 3 colors for the blend, and then as I'm working on the hair, I'll throw other colors in there, or I may take something out of the blend. It just depends, but I like to start out with like a swatch test and an idea of where I'm gonna start. So that's parrot green. So I'm gonna come, that's actually the lightest color in my hand. So let's go with the aquamarine. This is a very thin, so it's gonna look a little funny. Actually, that looks kind of good on both of those. They blend together well. Let me add the light aquamarine to the bottom of each. Honestly, that's a bit of a difficult choice. Here's an idea. I feel like the cobalt turquoise is darker than the parrot green. Sorry, I'm picking up the wrong color. So, cobalt turquoise. What if we put the parrot green right up against that? And then come in with aquamarine. And then light aquamarine. This is possibly not as exciting to watch as the actual coloring. I get it. But I have to admit that creating my color blends is one of my favorite parts. So I didn't do this step with the first little girl we colored, because I was following the colors that were used in the class. I always do it that way first. That way I can see that whether or not my techniques came out correct. It's easier to see if I match the colors with what's in the class. But when I do it the next time, I like to do my own colors. I mean, they're the same colors that everybody else in the world who uses Prismacolors are using, but I feel like it makes me feel special. Whatever. Okay, so now I want to make sure that the emerald green will match up here. I'm just blending these together, because I don't want it to be a jarring diversion from each color to the next. I think this is going to work out well. I like this a lot. I may add another green into the emerald just to bridge the gap between the grass green and the light green. But I don't think I have a color out right now that I would want to add. Yeah. So we're just going to leave it at these 3 colors right now. So we have dark green, grass green, light green, and then for the turquoise is cobalt turquoise, aquamarine, which I'll get the Premier pencil out of the drawer, and what is that, parrot green? Yeah, okay, and light aquamarine. So these are our colors to start with. We can add, we can subtract, but this is what we're going to use. All right. I am going to go ahead and say we're done for the day, and we will come back with these colors tomorrow. I wanted to remind you, Andrea, that if you can't make it to the live, if you go to the channel or come to the channel, you know what? If you're on the channel, if you look through the tabs where it says like videos, playlist, etc., you'll see a tab that says lives, and all of the videos are there. So if you can't make it in but you still want to see what we were doing, you can absolutely, after the live, it will be there. I think it's just not showing up under like regular video pages. And I number them all in parts and say what project we're working on. So if you are feeling like you're missing me, I'm full of myself today, aren't I? If you feel like you're missing me, you can always watch the video after the live stream. Talk to me in the comments. I love it. I just don't want you to feel like you're missing out when you don't feel good. It's bad enough if we have to miss out because I don't feel good. All right. Yeah, I'm supposed to say the thing about how it really helps out the channel and everything if you do the like and subscribe and all of that stuff. But, I mean, it gives me validation. Other than that, I don't care. You can do that stuff if you want to. We will be back tomorrow morning around 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will continue working on this tomorrow because I don't really have anything else put together yet. I have a lot of projects that I'm like staring at to figure out. And I also need to probably take this to my room today. You can't see the black printer ink really on there. I thought that it didn't show up at all when I first printed it, but I can see it barely. So I'm going to take my white Verithin pencil. We're going to trace that out. The white shows up on there really good. That way, I mean, hopefully that comes out better than it would with chalk. We'll see. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to experiment with the pan pastels on it and then go wild. So, it's always nice to know exactly what you have in your stash. because then, you know, you can sit here not looking in the place where you've got it stored and like visualize it. That's what I like to do. I often can't find things, or somebody will ask me where something is, and I'll be like, I need to look for it. But then I just sit here. And people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. I'm visualizing in my mind, and I find stuff that way. So, visualizing helps a lot. I'm curious what a Shakti mat is, too. All right, loves. I'm going to get out of here. This has been Periwinkle Palace Arts. I've been Princess Bun Bun all day. Yeah, I've been that all day. And I'm here with my bunnies Monday through Friday-ish. Most of the time. To do art here. We did art here today. We're going to do art here tomorrow. We did art here yesterday. That's what we do. We do art here. I hope you enjoyed hanging out. And leave me a comment. Okay. I got nothing else. Bye!